Well, let's get to know our first guest, Tony Biddle, founder and principal, Biddle Hotel Consulting. Mr. Biddle, what is Biddle Hotel Consulting? What are you guys doing?
We provide advisory services to the hotel industry, primarily in the arena of facilitating new hotel development.
So you're helping organizations that are looking to build new hotels or maybe rehab an existing hotel. You're looking to provide them some assistance.
Right. We provide a third-party subject matter expertise that basically vets the potential for their project. Good idea, bad idea, somewhere in between.
Wow. And where are you from originally?
I'm originally from the historic district in Philadelphia, PA.
Uh-huh. How many brothers and sisters?
I am the oldest of three siblings.
Oldest of three siblings. And what was going on with you 8 to 14 years old?
I've always been very much interested in the outdoors, in nature. My dad was an Eagle Scout, so he got me into the program at a young age, and I was immersed in that, took to it, and eventually did also become an Eagle Scout. That was about the age of 15, which is a little early.
Yeah. What's that tell us about commitment in you when you put your mind to something and, for you to become an Eagle Scout at an early age? What was that all about?
Right, I very much had my father as a role model, so of course wanted to be an Eagle Scout like him. So I think teaching the qualities of perseverance was a big plus for me at that time.
What's perseverance have to do with building a business?
Well, you're definitely going to face headwinds from time to time, especially starting your own company at a relatively young age. There's a learning process and accepting that it's not always going to turn out the way you want it to, but you persevere through it.
Mm-hmm. And what'd you learn from the Eagle Scouts has anything to do about building a business?
The Eagle Scouts are really great at incorporating leadership qualities into their programming.
Give me an example. What do you mean?
They empower the Scouts to organize themselves into smaller groups called patrols, and each one elects a leader. So I was lucky enough to be elected by my peers as a patrol leader from a relatively young age.
Why would your peers elect you to be a patrol leader? What was it they saw in you?
I would have the ability to demonstrate pretty strong skills in the outdoors, and also was able to make friends with just about everybody in the troop.
Okay, so what's your ability? What's your ability to make friends with everybody and keep everybody organized have to do with building this organization known as Biddle Hotel Consulting?
Right. In every line of work, you're going to meet a whole bunch of different personality types, and being able to balance those and manage them, I think, is a big part in having a successful business venture.
All right, just wanted to make sure I understood. Shannon?
Tony, in the green room, you mentioned you did some sailing when you were growing up. What boat were you sailing?
Yeah, it was a laser class sailboat, which is about 12 feet long, designed to be sailed by one person.
One person? What were you thinking about out there while you were sailing?
Right. When you're out on the water, it's very important, especially in a smaller boat, to be hyper aware of what's going on around you, the wind, what's going on in the water, whether or not you're going to hit another boat coming up. So having that mindfulness to be in the moment was a big part of what I learned as part of the sailing.
And your sailing experience, how does that relate to what you're doing today at Biddle Hotel Consulting?
Right. So in the hotel, in the consulting industry at large, but especially in what I do, it's very much individual based and project based, and you have to also be hyper aware of various factors that are influencing the project around you that can influence success.
Mm-hmm. Meredith, what are you picking up?
Tony, you mentioned that you have a brother and sister. What was your role in the siblings?
Right, so as the oldest brother, if I were the captain of the ship, I did provide a bit of a role model experience for them, but in practice we had some fun with mutinies from time to time.
And what do you mean? Tell me a little bit more.
All three of us have been brought up by our parents with strong independent streaks. So while we can get together as a team, we really don't have any trouble when we talk to each other, letting each other know what we think.
And what did your role in the family prepare you for in your business world or role?
Yeah.
Right, being the first child, it was an experience both for my folks and me. And it took a little bit of time to
Well, I guess you got experimented on.
exactly experiment on. I was looking for the word. Thank you.
Yeah, and it seems to me that when you're dealing with people looking to build a new hotel, maybe it's the first time they've done it, maybe they've done it a number of times, but you're comfortable walking into new circumstances, aren't you?
Yes, every project is different, and we work with all different types of developers.
Let me ask you a question. When you were this patrol leader in the Eagle Scouts and you were taking a group through the outdoors, were you able to help manage them through new circumstances like you were these developers for these hotels?
Absolutely, everything from navigation to handling weather conditions to building projects out in the woods. You've got to be able to both teach those below you and work with them as a friend.
Sounds to me like in order for the parents of these kids to trust their kids with you, the parents had to trust you, and the kids, they didn't have to listen to you, but I guess you figured out a way to get them to listen to you. Are there some leadership things you learned from them that apply when you're working with your developers today?
Yeah, over time through experience, I would say is the biggest thing. There's some trial and error, but eventually you get to understand some skills in people management that can help you with communication and also friendship.
So you're seeing stuff, and friendship as well. So you're seeing stuff that happened in your childhood with kids that have everything to do with dealing with adults. It's all the same, isn't it?
Yes, kids and adults were all the same.
Marita, what are you picking up? What are you seeing?
So, Tony, you had to deal with mutiny with your siblings. What happens today when you have something that goes off track?
Right. I think two words. One word: mitigation. We want to identify what the problem is. Oftentimes, it's a result of misunderstanding. It can be a matter of simple clarification, and that brings everybody back into the fold. And that's very important because as a consultant to a developer, we've got to put our best foot forward and make sure we're doing our best advisory job for the client.
Mm-hmm. And what that have to do with fixing the mutinies?
Oh, well, miscommunication, as I'm sure a lot of folks know, it can be a big theme in just about any group of siblings. So being able to effectively talk out when we had little squabbles here or there is a big deal.
Wow. So as opposed to everybody screaming and yelling and beating up everybody, you related it to miscommunication. You just want to understand, you want to get everybody on the same page.
Right, and making sure everybody in the room has their opinion respected.
All right. I got it, Peter.
Tony, you're in the hospitality business. What attracted you to the hospitality business and when?
I think from a very early age, I was attracted to hotels and hospitality.
How young were you when you were involved in a hotel?
My first real job at a hotel was at the age of 14 at the Union League here in Philadelphia. I started out folding towels and linens down in the basement, but quickly worked my way up to be a room inspector, going around and making sure every guest room after it had been cleaned is spick and span and ready for the guests.
How'd that make you feel?
Oh, it was a great sense of accomplishment at the time because my bosses were giving me responsibility and providing me with a chance to advance.
So you like responsibility just like you did as an Eagle Scout. No wonder you're involved in the hotel industry nowadays because you felt great about it back then. By the way, what's this fishing thing have to do with who you are? Who were you then with the fishing, and what's that have to do with who you are now?
Yeah, I've always been in love with fishing, again, because it provides that outdoor release. And when I'm out there on the water, it's a great opportunity to sort of take a break from it all, recenter the mind, and experience some true, simple tranquility.
Well, what's that have to do with what you're doing with Biddle Hotel Consulting?
Well, I think it's always important in one's work life to maintain and protect a proper balance that puts you in a mental state that allows you to show your best.
Huh. And you could develop these philosophies. Where'd these philosophies come from? Was this from your dad or from an uncle? Where'd you get this wisdom from?
Yeah, I was extremely lucky with my parenting. They were very good. My dad worked a very intensive...
We're going to run out of time here. What's a website address for Biddle Hotel Consulting?
That's biddlehotelconsulting.com.
We've been speaking with Tony Biddle, founder and principal of Biddle Hotel Consulting, here on Executive Leaders Radio.